When we resume play here from Charlotte Christian School at Knight Stadium, Christian will have the football in really good position here as they're inside the red zone. And will be a first and goal situation from the 8-yard line. Seems like their offense is starting to come alive, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, this first quarter hasn't surprised me. Both teams playing at high energy. Latin's always going to play really, really tough football and play hard. Christian's getting their sea legs under them now, and they're starting to establish their offense, mixing things up real well. So they're right down in the red zone, knocking on the door.
That was a 61-yard catch and run and a little spin.
Keep an eye on DeVoe. I think you're going to see a heavy dose of him right here behind Maitland in that big offensive line. These guys are probably going to jam it up in there on the power behind Walton, Maitland. See if they run the power play to the right there.
DeVoe's got 19 scores on the ground this year. And he gets the football, looking for room, and he picks his hole, waited it to open, and shot the gap for the score.
Well, Coach, it's like I told you, that was what I was expecting. If you notice his stiff arm and his ability to move his feet away from people, it's lethal. He's got that ability to get behind his pads and run away. He gets that body century down. He's tough to tackle. So good play, good run. We're 1 point away from tied up.
So DeVoe with number 19, and with 11:53 to go here in this second quarter. The kick by the always reliable Van Sickle, who's hit all 49 of his extra points this year, is good. He's now 50 out of 50.
That right there, Coach, is sort of Charlotte Christian football, the power game, that big offensive line. One of the keys to this thing is Maitland, 33. You got to keep an eye on him. He's a great blocker, lead blocker. You got to watch him slip out. They'll feed him the fullback occasionally. And like I told you, DeVoe's got some great running skills. So they're mixing it up. Good, exciting game. 7-7 in the first quarter.
Coach, he's so big, is DeVoe. 6'1", 195 pounds.
Got good pins on him. His legs are strong.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like these guys obviously spend a lot of time in the weight room, doing a lot of power cleans. You know, he's just got a nice running skill. If he's heading to my alma mater in a couple of years, looking forward to seeing him play.
Yeah.
I'm sure Coach Cutcliffe is looking to put him in there and get him involved with their program down the road.
Patrick Johnson, Ned Gonet with you. Of course, Coach Gonet, the longtime coach at Ravenscroft, very successful, but also played at Duke. Happy you're with us here. North Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association Division I championship game. A rematch of last year's title tilt. And we're tied at 7.
Patrick, don't go to the concession stand, because at any time on a kickoff or punt, these teams can take it to the house. They believe in it. They'll set up walls. I don't know. I think they'll try to keep the ball out of Rouse's hands. Let's see what they do here.
Well, Melvin Rouse has 9 returns for this season with a 31.6 average and a touchdown. Van Sickle can put it in the end zone, but here it's going to come down and it will go in. Just kind of tight roped it along that goal line there, and they'll start from the 20. That's an effective weapon, because it's so hard for teams at this level, at the scholastic level, to drive 80 yards.
Patrick, that's a huge weapon in high school football. If you can get the ball in the end zone and have a team start on the 20, keep them 3 and out, make them punt and flip the field and get the ball near the 50, that's a huge advantage. So that's what Christian did, got a good kicker.
10 state championships all time for Charlotte Latin, the last coming in 09. They've won 5 since 2003, including 3 in a row from 05 to 07. This is the 10th time they've been in the title game in the last 11 seasons. Here's a throw out in the flats. And that's Carson Song getting loose. Carson Song carrying a defender. And he's going to have a first down out across the 40-yard line. Davis Waltrip, the strong safety, was there. And there's Carson Song, a good look at him. Coach, they've thrown it his way 60 times this year. He's made 35 grabs prior to that one. And he's just a physical guy at 5'11", 175 pounds.
Yeah, I believe he's also an outstanding lacrosse player. That's actually the same play they scored on. A little inside out by the inside guy in a deep route. He just read it.
So Jones leads them to a 21-yard pickup and a first down, and they're going to go on the ground. Here's DeMarcus Stratford. Stratford lowering the headgear. Ball came loose, but I think the Hawks got back on it. Yeah, they did. Song was there. Song's been everywhere so far, singing a sweet melody as McClinton made the tackle, but Stratford on the little jet sweep motion here.
You know, the other thing they did, Patrick, they got Tay McMaster out in front of that big 71, and Maitland wrapped it behind him and just kind of followed him up into that defense and picked up a nice almost a first down.
Yeah, it's very close.
Second and 1.
To the 49 of Charlotte Christian. Stratford's just a freshman. Second and 1 as they're going to send Rouse in motion. And a flag comes in.
I think we got a little motion.
Yep.
Been a pretty clean game so far.
Yeah, not the double digits of penalties that we saw from both sides when they last met. Latin, in their win against Country Day to get to this game, had a 21-point quarter in the second. Now this Knights defense coach has only allowed 3 teams to score in the second quarter against them all year. One of those teams was Charlotte Latin, the other was Mallard Creek. That's pretty good company.
Yeah, well, they're strong. Lee Rose does a nice job of putting together a scheme.
Here's Jones on 3rd and long.
Nice pass to Tuttle, right at the chains. He knew where he had to get to. Jones delivered on the cut, first down.
Jeremiah White made the tackle. Tuttle, whose dad Perry, as we mentioned, was a Clemson Tiger.
You know, Patrick, that relationship right there happens in the summertime, that timing on that pass. Little 8-yard out, little bench route, put it right on his numbers, first down.
Those 7-on-7 passing leagues are so important in the offseason. Those 100-degree days pay dividends on these 30-degree nights. Here is Rouse. And Rouse breaking a tackle. Rouse spinning free. Rouse lowering the shoulder, and Rouse down to the 15. Gilmartin, McClinton finally got to him, but not before a scintillating rip of 30 yards.
The Latin one went to a two-back offense that time and gave it on a speed sweep to Rouse. What a fantastic individual. He was caught up a little bit, did some spin routes, put his hand on the ground, got some yards after contact. It's a huge play. Put the ball down almost inside the 10-yard line.
Coach Rouse came in with 379 yards. He's really run the ball very well. He's had 200 yards rushing on the ground the last few ball games. In fact, he's got the ball more on the ground recently than Stratford.
Well, you got to use the weapons you got, and he's one of them. Quarterback trap up the middle.
Jones stacked up. And the ball was ripped free, but...
No, Patrick, that's the same formation, same look. They faked it this time with Rouse, came back inside with Daniel Jones, wrapped the guard over top, trying to get it up the middle. Jones has had a lot of yards on the ground, I believe, in the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's been an effective runner for him.
Yeah, he's had 200 yards. Rouse, rather, had 200 yards, but Jones, you're right, has been very good as Charlotte Latin takes a timeout here on defense as they're going to be facing a second down at 11 from the 15.
You know, Patrick, both teams are doing a nice job of mixing it up on offense, kind of challenging the defenses a little bit, getting the ball to all their weapons. It's not a one-man game. Even Charlotte Christian, much as we talked about DeVoe, they've been able to get the ball inside to the fullback, throw it around to some different receivers. Turley's been effective. Latin's using Jones, but he's getting the ball in Maitland and getting the ball to Tuttle. So, as a defense, you can't focus on one person. You got to play balance and then just play the game. Got to tackle. A lot of people are breaking tackles out here, but you got some pretty effective athletes running up and down the field.
Daniel Jones has passed for 300 yards 4 times this season. He's passed for 199 9 times. I gave him that yard. Usually it's at 200 benchmark, but I figured 199. You might as well throw that in there.
You don't need to tell me. One of those games was against Ravenscroft, and he had a pretty good game against us. Oh, that was back at the beginning of September.
But, Coach, he's rushed for over 100 yards 3 times, including, as you noted here recently, rushing for 282 yards the last 2 games and 5 touchdowns. So he can hurt you a variety of ways at quarterback.
So Latin's emptied the backfield this time, got a 3-by-2 set. Jones in the backfield by himself. So this could be him running some type of draw play or some quick check down, stop 5 routes.
Masardo is in the slot on the left. He had that 40-yard reception for their first score. They're going to go over the middle, and it's deflected away, intended for Owen Armstrong, the senior. And a nice job by Bo Snuggs, the sophomore, to snuggle up in there and knock it away, pardon the pun.
That's one of Lattin's favorite routes. They take the inside guy and run him on the out route, and run the over top guy on the post. I'm not sure if that was the right decision. He threw almost into double coverage. Christian did a nice job defending it. Sitting here now, 3rd and 10.
7th play of this drive. A lot of noise in this venue right now.
Watch the routes down the middle, number 11.
5 receivers for Jones. Quite a menu to work with. On the run, and his receiver stumbled. Had Song not stumbled, Coach, it'd have been 6.
Yeah, I think on his cut, he put his foot in the ground and stumbled to the ground. Jones did a nice job of getting out of the pocket, creating an opportunity, but didn't work out. Looks like they're going to roll the field goal unit in.
Officially, Waldrop was going to get credit for being there defensively, but I think a blade of synthetic grass may have tripped him up.
Yeah, a little bit too much plastic. Both these teams have outstanding kicking games, and it might be the difference here.
Hawkyard has not made a field goal since the earlier matchup back on the 2nd of October. That was a 19-yard field goal. He's 3 of 4 this year. Now, he is now 3 of 5. Missed that one from 32 out. That was his long this year, by the way, 32.
Big stop for Christian. Did a nice job of bucking up down in the red zone and holding them. Now let's see what they do and see if Lattin can come back out and throw a good defense at him here.
Well, Ned, if you're Charlotte Lattin, you've had the ball and you've had some breaks here. You just haven't been able to capitalize. You had a pin deep, but they take it out from the 2 and score, completing a 98-yard drive. There, you get it deep into the territory of your opponent. You missed the field goal. They started with a short field, the possession before that. Right now, they just haven't been able to complete those drives, and that is a killer in a title game.
Well, I think they're controlling ball possession right now, moving the chains, but they got to score.
So from the 20, as they will rush out of bounds. They did a good job to get to DeVoe that time. By the way, whenever a field goal is missed, no matter where it is spotted, in high school football, they start with the ball at the 20-yard line.
That's correct.
And that's why they are starting from the 20 here, in case you're not familiar with scholastic rules, if you will.
A little different every level. College is different than pro. It's,
sure is.
You got to keep up with it. All right, they're in their power backfield back there, again with Maitland and DeVoe.
From the 21, the pistol for the quarterback, Turley. DeVoe takes it off the right side. Followed that guard, Hank Bennett, the senior, and is able to get out across the 25-yard line.
I tell you, Patrick, I've seen this play a bunch the last couple of years. They wrap block DeVoe over top, and he's something coming around that corner. And DeVoe tucks right behind him, and they throw it up the middle there. It's a tough run to stop. So they're sitting there now at 3rd and about 2 yards. Look to them go back to the same play behind Walton. Walton and Maitland. They need 2. They go back to their bread and butter. They got 3 guys on the right side with a tackle over, playing a tight end formation.
3rd down short. Fullback, and he's able to dart ahead.
You know, Lattin set pressure up the middle. They all had gap fits, and they ran right by him. That's the upside of giving that fullback that ball, that quick hit. So they move the chains.
Song and Tay McMaster, and another look at Maitland, who is so versatile. Caught a pass earlier and gets the first down run there to the 31.
Lattin stayed in that defense. They're still kind of putting everybody down the box a little bit, trying to play that run.
Turley sends a man in motion. Going to keep it himself. Oh, and he got leveled, got popped.
Song.
Yep, Carson Song again. That time delivering a teeth-rattling blow. And out to the 34, a gain of 3 for Turley. The junior knew it was coming. Boy, he took a shot, didn't he? He was held up by his teammate Monin there, and then Song completed the play. 19 Division I alumni for this Charlotte Christian Knight football program, a school that has 227 males. They overcame 5 turnovers last week. Turley fakes the toss. And out in the flats, Alex Parker but he got stopped again by Song, who is all over the field.
Great reaction out there by really Rouse, came up, and also Hunter Sheridan came down the pike and kind of latched on to him as he was releasing out in the flat to make it about 3rd and 6 now. Critical play here. Critical play for Latin to stop him. Keep an eye on that waggle action again. Maybe a screen. See what they got up their sleeve here. This 3rd and 6.
Turley has his blocking back shift around. Turley to the air on a short drop. Out at midfield, down the sideline. That motion man spinning free and out of bounds. It was Jalen McClinton, the senior, who's headed to Army. On and making the tackle, and they kind of shifted him in motion, Coach, and he got out of that backfield untouched.
Well, they slid him in motion, what they call a yo-yo motion. He slid one way, went the other way. The receiver ran a post route, and he ran down the sideline and was able to get in that seam, and Turley hit him right on the numbers for a big first down. Good play.
31 yards. Coach, we talked about some of the puttering of these drives by Latin. For the Knights, they've hit some big plays.
Yeah, big 3rd down plays to move the chains. Critical.
Turley, as his blocker, picked up pressure for the end zone, but he's out of bounds with the throw. Intended for Trey Linton, whose brother plays at NC State. Started, though, at Carolina. Kind of an interesting story, his older brother, but Trey Linton, who's getting a lot of interest from various schools, could not make the grab. Tuttle defensively at the left corner, and Linton's going to come out.
Yeah, his brother was an outstanding football and baseball player here at Charlotte Christian. Originally had an opportunity to go to UNC. Embarked on a baseball career, and now's at NC State, renewing his football abilities.
Turley was 7 of 12 when these teams met through the air last time and passed for his season high in yardage at 215 and touchdowns at 3. DeVoe this time on the call, 2nd and 10.
Great reaction there by Jackson Monnon. Came up off the edge and made a tackle in the back. Good job.
No gain.
No gain on the 2nd down carry.
So now 3rd and 10, but this is where the Knights have been dangerous.
Well, that big front of theirs, they got a good, Charlotte Latin front 4 is very strong, very active, and they let the linebackers run. Their philosophy is kind of allow those linebackers to make play and kind of stalemate the offensive line best they can.
They average nearly 200 yards per game rushing, 374 in total offense. Pressure and a sack. And that's one thing that this Latin defense can do. They have 3 guys with double figures in sacks. And that was one there.
I can guarantee you, having played against Mike Hawk's defense, he's not going to let you sit back there and throw it. He's going to bring pressure from the edges, sometimes from the 2nd level. And that time, he got a lot of pressure from Hunter Sheridan coming off the edge, and also Jackson Monnon coming to make the play.
Hamp cleaned it up, and now it is going to be a short punt for Van Sickle to punt here, the senior. We'll send it down along the sideline. It'll trickle out of bounds at about the 10.
You know, Patrick, I love that. I think we have a lost art of coffin corner punt here. I don't think they do that enough anymore. I know I try to teach my punters, try to punt the ball inside the 10 and kind of push it out with no return. That was a nice job by Van Sickle, keeping the ball down there and forcing Latin back a little bit against their own goalpost.
All right, high school football fans, Time Warner Cable Sports Channel will choose 2 plays, one from each team, for our TWC high school football games of the week to compete, I should say, in our Play of the Year competition. The fans can vote for the weekly winners at TWCSportsChannel.com. The winners will go on to compete for the Play of the Year for North Carolina. The winning school will be awarded a $1,000 donation.
There goes Rouse again on the jet sweep.
And he'll be stacked up as he took it from the 10-yard line.
DeMarcus Stratford gets out in front of him, gives him a lead block. He picks up about 8 yards there.
Waltrip brought him down as he did get out to the 18-yard line. And again, TWCSportsChannel.com, your home for high school sports, to vote on that play selected for tonight for the Play of the Year. Rouse. Tough runner. You know, Coach, you noted while we were waiting to do our scene setter at the beginning of the show just how hard this Latin team plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think every time you line up against Charlotte Latin, you got to be prepared for the intensity they play with. They play at a high level, and both teams do. I mean, you know, this is going to be a good quality, high effort on behalf of both teams, but you got to be ready for Latin the way they play so hard.
Third down and short upcoming here.
You got to remember, there's a lot of pride in this town. You got these 4 schools in Charlotte Latin, Charlotte Country Day, Providence, and Charlotte Christian within 10 miles of each other. So that fierce rivalry internally just kind of makes the intensity of the game that much more.
3rd and 1.
Look out.
Rouse couldn't hang on. Jones lost it. Gilmartin got back there. Coach, it looked like they were trying to go to the outside. I think that's a case where you got to go north to south.
I actually thought with Jones going under the center, he was going to sneak it up in there with his 6'5" frame. I was a little surprised that he gave it to him, trying to get that jet sweep around the right side and turn into a little bit of a miscue.
So the teams exchange punts.
Watch for Charlotte Christian set up a return here.
Mathis, who averages 35 yards, sends this one out, and a fair catch will be called for and made just inside the 45-yard line. That'll be a 34-yarder. And now Christian gets the football back, Charlotte Christian, in this tie ball game. Latin has lost 5 straight to their crosstown rivals.
Coach, with 3 minutes to go, this could be a real momentum swinger going into the locker room at halftime. One team to score, one to hold them from scoring.
From the 44, Turley. And he'll go down, a sack back to the 48.
Great pressure from number 66. Eddie Crutchfield came off the corner. He didn't make the tackle, but he flushed him in, and the rest of the troops came in and made a tackle on that little bootleg action.
A loss of 4 as Tay McMaster got back there to him on the sack.
Latin's loosened up their defense a little bit, playing a little deeper now as we get closer to halftime.
When in doubt, give it to DeVoe. And he takes it inside the 35-yard line. Owen Armstrong tripped him up. Going to be close to a first down. That's a nice luxury to have such a talented running back. And Coach, we watched him be so patient. Here he was explosive.
Well, Patrick, running back like that can make you a good coach real quick. Hand the ball to him 15-20 a game. He's going to break some runs and get effective yardage. Look for him again to run beside that right side. Try to get a little bit of power game going and get the ball in the end zone.
14-yard pickup. Now they're going to throw it. And it is a throwback. Turley, 25-yard line. Some trickery at the 2-minute mark. The quarterback throwback, and Turley makes it a 13-7 game.
Well, Patrick, they set that play up because on the backside, the cornerback was reading a short corner. And once the sweep started, he has to stay home and be disciplined. Sometime in the game, something come back, they release the quarterback down the sideline, and DeVoe just threw it up to him, and he used his speed to get to the end zone. Well-designed play.
And it's 14-0, or 14-7. But it is 14 unanswered for Latin. And DeVoe, with a man in his face, Turley leaked out, nobody got on him, and it was curtains.
Well, DeVoe did it with his legs. Now he's showing a little bit of his ability to throw the ball. You can see Latin jumped on man to coverage against number 11, which released him down the sideline. Backside corner had man coverage on 11. He went across the seam. They released him down the backside.
So Jason Estep and his brain trust with the bag of tricks to snap this tie. 2 minutes to go. Latin, who has played pretty well, has to be a little discouraged. They're down here.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of had pretty good ball control. They've moved the football. They've had a few miscues on critical times, putting the ball on the ground. So they need to try to answer. They need to keep the game in balance right here and see if maybe with 2 minutes they can move the ball down the field. I think they got their full allotment of timeouts. Maybe they used one in the first quarter there.
Coming up at halftime, we'll talk to the head of the North Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association, the outgoing Chuck Carter. He's retiring after this sports season. This will be his final round of championship games the next couple of weeks.
Patrick, let's see if Van Sickle can put the ball in the end zone again, or if he puts it in Rouse's hands.
Van Sickle with the leg, and it'll be a
Song
tumbler, and Song will go from the 6. He tosses it back to Melvin Rouse. You don't see that every day.
Look out.
It was a good decision.
McClintock.
He got speared by McClinton. Got that momentum going. Rouse pops up, shaking his head. Little jaw jacket going back and forth between these two, but what a stick.
That was interesting. Carson Song took the ball in one hop. He flipped it back to Rouse. He became his lead blocker. Got the ball out to the 35. Intensity's picking up in the game here. Let's see if Latin can answer with 1:50 to go before half.
Down 7. They'll have plenty of time with their full complement of timeouts to make something happen here. A couple of them, actually. But still, a chance with those 2 timeouts. Decent field position and a lot of time.
Latin's out 3 by 1, so they look like they got man coverage backside.
Jones delivered it on a rope, and it will be a first down. Daniel Jones, as Snugs wrapped up Masardo. And Masardo has already got a touchdown score of 40 yards in this game. And Coach, this is what you meant. Jones could put it in your pocket.
Oh, man. He can throw it in the Coke bottle from about 50 yards. He's very effective. Got good. And again, that was a timing route, 3 by 1. Had man coverage backside. One of those routes against those 7-yard bench route. Now they got a wing back, and you got to keep on that wing back down the middle. Motion.
Jones had 268 yards when they played the first time. And he goes down here, sacked. And again, Connor Maitland shot the gap, dropped him for a loss of 10.
He's playing hard on both sides of the ball, mate. He's making an impact both on offense and defense. They ran Rouse in motion at time and run him on a wheel route down there. And Maitland shot the gap and got to Jones 40 could deliver. Big play. 2nd and about 17.
Jones. Maitland behind him and drags him down. Tackled him back at or head, I should say, to the 40.
Great coverage in the secondary by Charlotte Christian. Really was nobody open, and I think Jones made a good decision not to throw it. What you don't want to do here before half is give them another opportunity to score. So if we end up here 14-7, Latin's still in a pretty good position. Got 3rd and about 16 yards here. Look to Latin to go to one of their foundation plays, a little post route they like to run. Let's see what they do here. They take a timeout.
I think that's a good call. The first 2 plays after that first down completion have not gone very well.
Charlotte Christian's starting to raise up their intensity a little. You can see them out there on the field. Their emotions are getting higher. You know, this is a battle. But I think what's critical right now as a coach is try to draw up a play that you might think you can get that yardage, but you don't want to turn the ball over. You don't want something to happen to give them another opportunity to get some points real quick. Okay, that's going to be critical as you go into halftime.
You know, it's a unique situation here at Charlotte Christian. They have a lot of former NFL guys, Eugene Robinson on staff here, Michael Dean Perry. You see some of those guys down there. Of course, their AD, John Casey, who is, when you think of the Carolina Panthers, he's one of the guys you think of as an all-timer.
Yeah, I mean, I always admired John Casey. He got on the field. He was Every time he went out there, you can count on him to kick the ball through the pipes. He was pretty good. Let's see what Latin does here. Look for maybe a screen, something safe, something they might be able to get the ball in the playmaker's hands. Christian's playing a one-man high here.
Third and long, Jones in the pocket, hung in there, incomplete. McClinton upended Song downfield. Would have been enough for a first down. They dialed up the pressure, and that line held on as long as they could.
Good play. Put the ball right on him. Unfortunately, couldn't come down with the catch. He was right at the sticks. So with 54 seconds left, Latin's got to line up the punt again. You got to watch back there. Number 2, Linton. He's got some really, really swift feet. He kind of can make things happen when he gets the ball in his hands.
He had a 68-yard punt return last week.
There you go.
From the 25. Good coverage.
Yep. You got to surround him because you can't let him get out of that tackling edge.
Still a lot of time with a little over 45 seconds to go for Charlotte Christian to do something here, as they'll have the football at their own 26-yard line.
Well, I think, again, you know, Charlotte Christian might take a real shot here to see if they can get something. But, again, you got to be careful what you do, because right now you sort of got the momentum on your side. Looks like they're going to go to a kind of a balanced offense and let the clock wind itself down at halftime here and take what they got.
Yep, that's what they're going to do.
Probably smart. They got the momentum. They recaptured it. Both teams have played their hearts out here in the first half. But right now, Christian, like you say, they posted the last 2 scores. They answered Latin first score out the gate, which was critical. But right now, they got to feel good about what they are. And, you know, Latin's played well, too. They go back and make some adjustments.
It's been a very entertaining first half of football, to say the very least. Spirited, both teams playing hard. And
well, I'm sorry. It's high school football at its best. 2 well-coached teams, well-prepared, playing their hearts out. And I think we'll have an entertaining second half coming up here.
2 great schools, a great rivalry, and a great game in this Division I championship game. Halftime with Charlotte Christian leading Latin 14-7. We'll be back on the field in just a moment with the president of the North Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association, Chuck Carter, in just a moment. Back at halftime, it is a good one here in this Division I championship game between Charlotte Christian and Charlotte Latin. Welcome back into Knight Stadium. Patrick Johnson with you, along with the outgoing president of the North Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association. He's a guy who's been around quite a while, and a real pleasure to be joined by Chuck Carter here. Thank you for being with us. Great to see you again.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, 41 years the association has been in existence. Of course, you've been part of high school athletics in the western part of the state for a number of years beyond that. But, boy, in over 4 decades, a lot has changed, hasn't it? What are some of the things that are a little different now than they were all those years ago?
Well, to begin with, we started all those 41 years ago with about 3 state tournaments. We're going to have 59 state tournaments this year, so that's a major change. We have membership has gone from probably 22 or 3 to begin with. We're about 90 now. So we do have some progress to show for these years.
Chuck, I know you're not necessarily a guy who wants to think back on your legacy, but I mean, it has been quite a legacy of growth and development, and of course numerous student athletes over the years, lots of legendary coaches in the state of North Carolina. You are retiring. You probably have thought about it a little bit. What are you thinking about as far as a legacy?
Well, I really haven't thought about the legacy, except that I'm just delighted to see the position of the state association right now. We've got a lot of great young leaders coming along, and I'm sure there'll be a great executive director take my place. I just feel as though things are in excellent shape financially and every other way, and we're just looking forward to seeing, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Well, you mentioned the future. What are some of the goals that you and the association have coming out of this year?
I think most importantly is the selection of a new executive director, and I do feel as though we've had some some issues with football. Football is just proliferating in our state association, and our guidelines have always been to play as many classifications as we can. So our classifications are smaller in number than the public schools, and so there's a problem there trying to get equitable competition.
A lot of things to look forward to, and a great numbers of years of service as the executive director.
Thank you.
Chuck Carter being with us here. Thank you so much. You brought some of that Asheville weather down here too.
Certainly
to
did.
Charlotte. Thank you for being with us. Congratulations on a great career.
Thank you very much.
Chuck Carter and the coach and I will be back with our thoughts on the second half when we return to Charlotte. It's our Time Warner Cable Sports Channel Game of the Week.